and Civil Aviation, the Honorable William Ngabo.
Mr. Speaker, I hereby table my response to written question 75, 2026.
Thank you. Can you please hand the report to the Secretary General? Thank you. I call on the Honorable Rina Sharma to ask the third written question. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I'd like to raise and ask question number 76 of 2026 to the Minister for Public Enterprises and Multi-Ethnic Affairs, Culture and Heritage and Arts.
Thank you. I now call on the Minister for Public Enterprises and Multi-Ethnic Affairs, Culture, Heritage and Arts, the Honorable Charan Singh.
Mr. Speaker, I hereby table my response to the written question 76 of 2026.
Thank you. Secretary General, thank you. Fourth written question. I call on the Honorable Chavez over there to ask this written question.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to ask written question number 77 of 2026, and it's directed to the Honorable Minister for Housing and Local Government.
Here I call on the Minister for Housing and Local Government, the Honorable Matthew Nalumi, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby submit my response.
The report is at hand. Can you please hand it over to the Secretary General? Thank you. Fifth written question. I call upon the Honorable Tony Usomati to ask his written question.
Thank you, sir. My question 78 of 2026 is addressed to the Minister for Justice and Acting Attorney General. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I call on the Minister for Justice, the Acting Attorney, the Honorable Siromi Turanga.
Mr. Speaker, hereby table my response to written question 78 of 2026.
Thank you. Can you please send it to the Secretary General? You are, and I call on the Honorable Joseph Nunn to ask his written question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask written question 79 of 2026. This is directed to Minister of Agriculture, Waterways and Sugar Industry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I call on the Minister for Agriculture, Waterways and Sugar Industry, the Honorable Thomas Tunambona.
Mr. Speaker, I hereby table my response to written question 79 of 26.
Thank you. The report is at hand. Please hand it over to the Secretary General. Next written question, I call on the Honorable Hem Chan to ask his written question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question 80 of 2026. The question is directed to Minister for Education.
Thank you. I call on the Minister for Education, the Honorable Sherry Ndondo.
Mr. Speaker, I hereby table my response.
Thank you. The answer, please send it to the Secretary General. I now call on the Honorable Pramila Kumar to ask his written question, her written question, I beg your pardon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask question number 81 of 2026 to the Minister for Finance, Commerce and Business Development.
Thank you. I call on the Minister for Finance, Commerce and Business Development, the Honorable Esrom Emmanuel. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I will table my response at a later date, as allowed in Standing Order 45.3.
Honorable members, I think considering the numbers of questions he had to answer this morning, I will. So the Honorable Minister will table his response at a later sitting, understanding Order 45.3. I now call on Honorable members, thank you. The question time is, you have one more? My apologies. Yes, you have two questions, Honorable Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Again, I ask question number 82 of 2026 to the Minister for Finance, Commerce and Business Development.
Thank you. I now call on the Minister for his response.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will table my response at a later date, as allowed in Standing Order 45.3.
Thank you. So the two answers to be tabled, the response will be tabled by the Honorable Minister at a later date, as permitted under Standing Orders 45.3. Honorable members, thank you. The question time is now over. Move on to the next item on our agenda. Secretary General.
Consideration of bills.
Honorable members, please take note that there will be two bills for consideration today. First one will be for first reading. The second will be for the Committee of the Whole Parliament, followed by the third reading. So we'll now deal with the first bill, and I call upon the Minister of Education, the Honorable Asiri Rondoro, to move the first reading of his bill.
Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 51, I move that Pacifica Communities University Bill 2026 be considered by Parliament without delay. The bill must pass through one stage at a single sitting of Parliament. That the bill must be immediately referred to the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights. That the Standing Committee must report on the bill at the next sitting of Parliament. That upon presentation of the report on the bill by the Standing Committee, the bill must be debated and voted upon by Parliament with the right of reply given to me as the member moving the motion.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Honorable Leader of the Government in the House, Honorable Tusawau, second. I now call on the Minister for Education to speak on this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honorable Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers, Honorable Leader of Opposition, fellow members of Parliament, and also take this time to acknowledge the presence of the members of the Pacifica Communities University. Mr. Speaker, sir, I hereby move a motion to table the Pacifica Communities University Bill 2026 under Standing Order 51. The Pacifica Communities University Bill 2026 seeks to establish the Pacifica Communities University, or PCU, as a body corporate by an Act of Parliament. The Pacifica Communities University will replace the existing PTC, Pacific Theological College, which has operated for 65 years under a charitable trust deed. Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill is important for two main reasons. Firstly, it establishes the Pacifica Communities University to respond to the moral fragmentation of Fiji society and the region through its innovative programs based on indigenous knowledge and learning and its faith and value-based education. Secondly, through this form of education, it equips our people, especially the younger generation, to build and strengthen the moral fabric and ethical values of our diverse communities. It is for these two reasons and the urgency of this form of education, Mr. Speaker, sir, that this bill must be tabled and passed in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill will provide the Pacifica Communities University a legal status under the Fiji Higher Education Act 2008. This bill will provide a robust, transparent, and accountable statutory framework for the Pacifica Communities University, enabling it to serve the tertiary education needs of diverse religion and indigenous communities in Fiji and the Pacific region. Mr. Speaker, sir, since 1961, the university retains its sphere of influence with regards to its faith and spiritual traditions, and to further this with inclusion of indigenous knowledge, traditions, and learning. Pacifica Communities University's mission is to equip leaders with the holistic moral education and soft skills required to, 1, navigate professional environment, 2, contribute to the development of their communities, and 3, to address the pressing challenges of our time. Mr. Speaker, sir, leaders with whole-of-life vision equipped with ethical and moral value education to support Pacifica Society's sustainable development plans. The bill is consistent with Section 21 of the Higher Education Act 2008, under which the Higher Education Commission may provide a bill for the establishment of a university to the Minister for Education for tabling in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, upon enactment, the university will become subject to the Higher Education Act 2008 and must formally apply for and receive registration and apply for financial grant through the Higher Education Commission, Fiji. The bill has been drafted in consultation with the Office of the Solicitor General to ensure an alignment with the Fiji National Legal Framework. Mr. Speaker, sir, Part 2, Section 4, Provision 3 of the Act provides that the university is a body corporate with perpetual succession. This legal provision allows the university to own assets, enter contracts, sue and be sued, and carry out all its acts necessary for its educational mission. This represents a significant improvement over the charitable trust structure, which lacked full legal capacity for a university operation. Mr. Speaker, sir, the university has a board of trustees that ensures that the body corporate is accountable to Part 2, Section 4, Provision 3, Clause A to G, with expertise in finance, legal, and management. The bill, Mr. Speaker, sir, establishes a governance framework to ensure separation of powers, accountability, and academic integrity. The Vatele or Council, the governing body representing the 20 founding member churches, represented by qualified head of churches and appointed independent members who are qualified in their areas of expertise such as academic, finance, governance, and human nurturing. This ensures that the university remains rooted in Pacific faith and indigenous traditions. The ULI, or the Executive Board, is responsible for day-to-day administration, financial management, and implementation of Council decisions. They are represented by qualified individuals with expertise, head of churches appointed by the Council, and the university management expertise. The Po Tuolotu, the Academic Board, the independent body governing all academic matters, including curriculum excellence, quality assurance, and appropriate contextual research, is represented by qualified academics, professors, associate professor, and PhD holders, both internally and externally. Mr. Speaker, sir, this structure is instituted to ensure that it functions according to the requirements of the Act and in pursuant to the university core business, which is the delivery of education. That is whole of life based on indigenous and religious faith traditions. These bodies ensure the monitoring, sustainability, and accountability of the university. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill designates 20 Pacific churches from 16 Pacific countries, including Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, Solomon Islands, PNG, Kiribati, Tuvalu, and others, as members. They are the owners and primary funders of the university. Whilst there may be no direct financial commitment is sought from the government of Fiji through this act, the university will still submit annual grant proposals through the Higher Education Commission, Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the member churches are independent religious entities in the countries they are situated in across the region and empowered by their own constitution and statutes as legal entities. They are, as owners of the university, supported through membership contributions, student fees, and grants. This ensures, Mr. Speaker, sir, financial stability, sustainability without placing a mandate on the state, while maintaining regional ownership. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill explicitly mandates academic freedom, ensuring non-discrimination and access for all qualified persons regardless of background. The university is empowered to offer higher education programs grounded on Judeo-Christian and ancestral indigenous traditions, while embracing interfaith learning and exchange. The academic freedom is enshrined in the Pacific Communities University academic policy, particularly through design of courses, research, academic workshop, conference, and the freedom for academics to speak and articulate their views in a public forum for research initiative. While being true to the university vision and grounding, yet embracing inclusivity through interfaith learning, academic policies also support independent thinking, writing, publication, and expression. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill includes comprehensive transitional provision to transfer all assets, liabilities, staff, and student records from the PTC to the Pacifica Communities University. The staff are to be transferred on the same terms and conditions provided in the current employment contract. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, protects the rights of existing employees and students, ensures continuity of academic programs, and avoid legal uncertainty. The university retains the capabilities of its human resources and values of its investments and properties through clear transition processes and procedure. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Pacifica Communities University will be subject to the Higher Education Act 2008, including quality assurance and accreditation requirements of the Higher Education Commission (PG). The bill also requires the university to maintain proper financial records and submit to audits. Additionally, the Wa'atele, or the council, includes representatives of members of churches, providing a layer of community accountability. Mr. Speaker, sir, the statutory oversight by the Higher Education Commission (PG), combined with internal governance, creates a robust accountability framework that is already in place. The Pacifica Communities University will become a statutory body under the Higher Education Act 2008, enabling it to expand academically by offering accredited programs beyond theology, including indigenous knowledge, skills training, and community development. Financially, it will be supported through church contributions, student fees, grants, and internal revenue with eligibility for competitive HECF funding. In terms of human resources, Mr. Speaker, sir, existing PTC staff will transfer with the current terms and conditions until transition to Pacifica University contracts. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, the Pacifica Communities University Bill 2026 is necessary and well-considered legislative measures in this era and for the Pacifica future in light of the university's unique form of education. Through the Act of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill establishes a university that delivers transformative education, grounded in traditional knowledge, values, morals, ethics, religious faith, and Pacifica philosophy. This will ensure the survival, agency, and flourishing of Pacifica people identities, culture, and faith traditions through education that is whole of life and community-based. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill represents Fiji's national higher education framework, preserves Pacific indigenous and faith traditions, and promotes interfaith academic culture. Now, what
I thank the Honourable Minister for Education. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate. At the end of the debate, I will call on the Honourable Minister for his right of reply. I do not see any. Honourable Usamate.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, the Pacific Theological College has had a long and distinguished reputation and a contribution, particularly in matters related to Christianity, in not only in Fiji but also in the Pacific. And I know that a lot of our ministers here in Fiji got their graduate training and their postgraduate training at the Pacific Theological College. Now, you also know that at the level they are now moving into degrees and postgraduate programs, and that long 60-year experience, and it's good to see that they are moving to the next step. I think for us, it would have been ideal for us to go through the full phase of all the stages of reviewing this particular bill, because it's an entire bill for the establishment of a university, which is not a small thing. But the way that it's being done now, we might not, might have wanted it to go through the full rigmarole of the way things are reviewed. But I congratulate PTC for getting to this particular level, and I'm glad to see the staff that are here, very distinguished academic who has had a long distinguished career in USP and other places, and I think a lot of people in this house have actually been taught by some of the people there. Mr. Speaker, I know it's going to go to committee, and we'll be working through it, and we look forward to being able to address this in the committee. And the other thing that I was thinking, I was trying to think, I forgot something. One of the things that we have in the country is a national, USP is a regional university. I think this will be the second regional university in Fiji. That started off in terms of on Christian teaching divinity and so forth. Now it is going to go out into maybe the nexus between religion and also between culture, indigenous culture, Pacific culture, to bring that up. Because sometimes our conception of our own history is limited by the things that we read that are written by others. Maybe this is an opportunity for us. The work that they will do is for us to, as Pacific Island, to explore our history from the way that we look at it. So we look forward, Mr. Speaker, sir, to being able to address it within the committee and to come back eventually to Parliament. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Usamate. Yes, Honorable Ngabokot, Deputy Prime Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. So I just wish to speak in support of the motion, and hopefully with the committee, a lot of issues can be added and provide a profile for the university, which in terms of tourism is a development that we welcome. I have shared within the House, Honorable Speaker, that according to the World Tourism and Travel Commission, tourism of the future will be driven largely by indigenous travel. The indigenous community will play a big role in tourism. But for that to happen, we need to make sure that we protect what is unique to us. And I'm pleased to see the establishment of the university and its focus on our values. And this augurs well for the growth of this industry in Fiji and in the Pacific Islands. I spoke earlier today about the European market, and these are people who come to Fiji and the Pacific wanting to experience what our cultures and our traditions are. So we cannot be assured that this will survive. We need to be reminded. We need to pass this on to our future generation on the values we must protect. I remember a case where I opened a new business operation in Buondomo, in Wailevu, in Takonrobe, about 2 years ago. And they performed a ritual to welcome me and to celebrate the opening of that on their occasion. And there was an item there on Mr. Speaker, sir, that was last performed 50 years ago, before the date. And they were fortunate. There was one remaining person who was able to show them how it was done. So I always, when I remember that, of course, the value of tourism, that it helps revive culture and tradition in the communities. But the fact that it could have disappeared had they not known or had that the expertise was no longer there. One person who remembered this and taught the younger generation on that particular, very important part of the ritual in that part of Welewi in the Konrobe. So, Honorable Speaker, I welcome the establishment of the university, and from my industry, this is a huge development and a welcome one for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. I recognize Honorable Professor Biman Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I'm going to be very brief. I was wondering if I didn't speak, my good friend, Dr. Agnesi Kendriate, who I had the pleasure of working at the University of the South Pacific for a long time. You know, we are both deans of faculties, and we had great time, thinking about university policies, about university governance, about university structures. So I'm particularly delighted that she is right now the Chancellor of the university. And this legislation, Mr. Speaker, is necessary for a university to have a very defined system of governance structure. As you can see, it was explained to by the Honorable Minister for Education with different components, including the council and the functions of the university and what the powers of the university that they have. So I fully support the presentation of this bill to firmly give recognition and the legislative background and teeth for the establishment and the establishment of the university. And my view always has been, Mr. Speaker, that the more the merrier. If we have a number of universities, we had only one for many years, then we had another two, and we find that all of them are contributing in different ways, and I'm sure the Pacifica Communities University would be able to fill the gaps in areas where the current three universities may not be doing so, particularly in terms of curriculum that, that is embedded into the Pacific culture, tradition, and so forth. So with those few words, Mr. Speaker, I support the bill.
I thank the honourable member. I don't see any more contribution. I will now call on the Honourable Minister of Education to speak in reply.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. I'd just like to thank all the members who have spoken in support of the bill that is before us, and we hope that transition through the committees will be mindful of the timeline that has been given, and we hope that they will come back with a more enlightened view of the proposed bill.
Thank you. The Parliament will now vote. The question is pursuant to Standing Order 51. A, that the Pacifica Communities University Bill 2026 be considered by Parliament without delay. B, that the bill must pass through one stage as a single sitting of Parliament. C, that the bill must be immediately referred to the Standing Committee on Justice, Law and Human Rights. D, that the Standing Committee must report on the bill at the next sitting of Parliament. And E, that upon presentation of the report on the bill by the Standing Committee, the bill must be debated and voted upon by Parliament, with the right of reply given to the Honourable Minister as the member moving the motion. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. I hope that Professor that the Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Kenreathe, and your executives of the Pacifica Communities University attending to witness the progress of your bill will now retire happy and satisfied. We'll move on to the next item, and that is the Education Bill of 2025. Honourable members, we will now proceed to the second bill for today, and the Parliament will first resolve into Committee of the Whole Parliament on the Education Bill 2025, and I will now join the Secretary General at the table. We will now proceed. Secretary General.
Part 1.
The floor is now open for comments on Part 1. Honorable Kumar.
Yes, sir. I'd like to move that clause 2, interpretation. Clause 2, interpretation, be amended by inserting the definition of private schools. And the definition would be, private school means schools that is fully self-financed. There is none at the moment.
Right here, you got a copy of this? Right, the Honorable Kumar has moved that clause 2 be amended by inserting the definition of a private school. And private school, she's provided definition, means a school that is fully self-financed. Are there any seconders?
Second motion.
Second, Honorable Usamati. Any intervention? Yes, sorry, Honorable Kumar. Can you speak on your motion, please?
Thank you, sir. The reason why I'm making that amendment is because the bill is already making reference to private schools on clause 5D. And if you read clause 5D, it says provide for the recognition and registration of government schools, government-aided schools, and private schools. But there is no definition given about private schools. So it is for this reason I'm proposing that private school definition should be given. And then as you move on in the bill, clause 47, where there is a whole division on private schools. And yet, in the bill, there is no definition at all. There is definition for government-aided school, government school plus home schools, but no private schools. And therefore, Chair, as a government, we have a responsibility towards our parents and students, and it's extremely important that we put the definition with a clear demarcation in terms of not confusing schools that are run by churches, community groups, etc., as a private school. And then, of course, we do have private schools in Fiji, and these private schools needs to be approved, and I see there is a miss in terms of approving private schools, which I'll be talking later on. But let's start with the definition first. Thank you.
Thank you. Now open the floor for any contribution. Honorable Professor Prasad.
I wasn't sure, Mr. Chairman, with respect to the reasoning. Honorable Kumar is saying that the definition should be that they should be fully privately funded. So I'm not sure whether the definition of a private school should rest entirely on just how it's funded. I could be running a private school, I could be funding it, but I could also be getting funding from other sources, including government. And it's up to the government to provide funding for a private school. So I'm not sure defining that just will be restricting completely the ability to run a private school.
Well, the definition, Honorable Member, as provided by Honorable Kumar, is that private school means a school that is fully self-financed.
Yeah.
Anything less than that or other than that won't fall into the category of a private school under the definition. Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, it's just that I'm wondering, I mean, whether that will preclude, whether that definition will exclude any kind of funding from government or any other agency. Self-funding means the ability of the school to raise funding. So I'm assuming that there is no restriction. Are you with that, or you mean to say?
Honorable Kumar, do you wish to comment on that?
Yes, the definition that we're trying to put in here is to demarcate that it's a school privately owned and privately financed. There's no assistance whatsoever from the government. Like, for example, we have international schools, we have Kids First. There are a number of private schools in the country that are fully self-financed.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Minister, Education.
Thank you, Chair. Just refer to the definition of schools, the government-aided schools, which is clearly stated on page 11, and government schools. So I think the definition of private school falls under the government-aided schools. They are not private, they are not government funded, they are not government schools, but government aided schools, so including private.
Honorable Kumar, do you wish to comment on
Yes,
Honorable
sir.
Minister's?
Yes, sir. On page 11, the reference minister is making on government-aided school, it says be maintained out of public funds. Similarly, government schools are maintained out of public funds. So they're both maintained out of public funds. But I'm making reference in which basket or category would you put schools that are self-financed, self-owned, which we currently have in Fiji? And how are you going to deal with the applications, etc.? There is complete silence on that in the bill, although we have private schools.
I don't get what you are trying to clarify, Madam. It's the government, the private schools. These they are not monitored, or they are not, their programs are not dictated by
No, I'm not
Ministry of
going that
Education?
far.
So
I'm just looking at the categories that is being created, which is government-aided school, where government funds are going. Then you have government schools, which is again funded by government. And government-aided schools are all those schools owned by different community groups like Arya Samaj, Sanatan, Catholic, Methodist. These are all aided schools. But in which category will you put schools like Kids First, international schools, and so forth? And we can see there are more schools opening up privately. And in future, there will be a lot more. But we have nothing in the bill to really define private schools, or how will you handle the applications, etc., for private schools?
Thank you.
I think
Professor Kumar? Yes.
I was just thinking, because the definition of a government-aided and a government school is very clear. It might still be appropriate because apart from the religious organizations, there are what you call, might be private schools, but run by private individuals, communities. So there are communities as well, so there's another definition. So my approach would be to leave the definition of government-aided and government schools and leave the private schools undefined. And if the government provides, I think that would be a better approach, because otherwise you get caught up by, if, for example, there is, you get a situation where somebody is trying to set up a school, say in a remote area or remote island, putting in a lot of money, but says to government, okay, we will provide the core budget, but you do some other things. That would still be a private school, or it could have come into the definition of a grant-aided school, but owned by somebody else, just like communities. So really defining it to the core may create unnecessary problems.
Chair, there's a whole business line where people would like to open private schools, and parents would like to send their children to private schools, those who can afford. But it's very important as a country that we protect the parents as well as the students. And it is for this reason that in the bill itself, the whole issue of private schools are not stated, although we have private schools in the country. We do have private schools. And therefore, we got to have a definition to categorize who private schools are, how they are funded. Like what Honorable Prasad said, that they would like to invest this money, fine, but they're asking help from the government. The answer is a private school is one who's going to invest all the money in setting up their schools. That is a private school. They will generate money from school fees, etc. They will also get money from their donors, or they're going to put money out of their own pocket. And whether it's an individual, a trustee, whoever they are. But it is fully self-financed. So there is no obligation in the future that private schools also line up for funding from the government. I'm just trying to protect the government. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. There any other contribution, Honorable?
Thank you, Chair. My interpretation, as far as these government-aided schools are concerned, private schools are not government-aided. It is not. So we need definition for private school. That is what Honorable Kumar is asking for. Because we have got government schools, government-aided schools, and then we have got private schools. So private schools are not government-aided.
Honorable Buletagu.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My view is that we should not allow this amendment. It has gone through the committee, and the Honorable Usamate, who seconded the motion, is one of the members of the Justice, Law and Human Rights Committee, and also Honorable Koya. And they has gone through that scrutiny, and I think whatever the definition that is in the interpretation is enough to differentiate what is a government-aided school and also a private school. So I suggest, sir, that we are objecting the motion, and we go to the vote.
Thank you, Honorable Usamate.
Thank the Honorable Mbolitavo for his contribution. When we sit in committees, we sit as a bipartisan committee, and what we present is the cumulative things that we agree upon as a committee. There might be things there that we don't agree personally, but because we're working in a bipartisan committee, the bill at itself is a reflection of that. But I also have some amendments that I'll propose, which is my own thinking as a member of parliament. That needs to be clear. We work in committee, very bipartisan, but I am still an MP with a brain, and I can also contribute here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Koya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I completely support what Honorable Smate said, and but I think in support of what Honorable Kumar is saying, Honorable Chair, it's the equivalent of an independent school, and for those that may have been educated offshore, there does exist private schools or independent schools in other countries like Australia, New Zealand, the UK, etc. But they're classified as private schools. So they're entirely funded by their own fees, etc. Even their curriculum is not developed like here in Fiji, for example. But we have an opportunity here where there may be, like we have universities here from overseas that run particular courses. All they have to do is register. So the private school definition really just needs to say, and not the way it's been said in the definition maybe, and I agree with Honorable Kumar, that it needs to have a separate definition, because you've got, when you say government-aided school, the definition, Honorable Chair, has three things: not owned by government, maintained out of public funds, and controlled by the ministry. In this particular thing that is being referred to by Honorable Kumar, these are not controlled by the ministry. They are wholly, solely independent. There may be independent schools out of different countries that may want to establish here and have an independent school which is privately funded, privately done. I think we ought to look at it in terms of it's a business opportunity, they pay their taxes here, etc. And also that the only issue would be that they register with the Ministry of Education. I think that's the area where Honorable Kumar is coming from, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Tumbuya.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Perhaps to qualify it, I don't think there's any really truly private school in Fiji. And I'll qualify that because even though a child attends a private school, they're still entitled to the student bus fares, which is provided by government. I know, because they can still take the school bus and get the card and are entitled to it. The government does not stop them because they're in private schools to access student bus fares and benefits, and that's a government-provided funding. So they are government-aided. They're not fully private like we see overseas, where if you're in a fully private school, you're not entitled to government programs, and that's a choice that a parent makes. So they are accessing a government fund. They are being aided. Those students are being aided, and they can take and do take public transport. I know because my child is in a private school, but he does have a bus card, and he travels by bus to go to the pool with his group of students. So they do access government funding, and therefore we cannot put that definition purely how it is being described, because they are government-aided schools, sir. So I do oppose the motion as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Usamate.
Thank you, Chair. That assistance that the Honourable Minister is talking about is not assistance to the school. That is assistance for the student. That student pays a school fee. In other schools, the government pays the school fee. I have grandchildren that go to school that can apply for that free bus fare, but we pay for their bus fare. So it's not an assistant to the school. Her definition is just about the school. So that, I think that argument does not hold water because of what I'm pointing out here. Nagavalio.
Can I just ask the acting authority for, and then I'll come to the Honorable Fisher.
Future private school is anything that does not fall within the definition of government school, government aided school, or home school, whatever may set up may be. So refer to clause 2 of interpretation, clause 88 on the types of schools, which highlights how a school can be categorized as according to ownership of funding. I oppose the motion because we cannot specify, and there'll be no any other amendment as proposed by Honorable Premila.
Honorable Fisher, can I?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So just to add to what has been said, for example, international school is government funded because the majority of students are working for either governments or parents. So their fees are funded by those governments and even regional organizations. So you cannot really specify the definition which you are proposing will restrict it. So it's better not to include it because it's already there listed, private schools, and the process too is there in section 48. So it's more advantageous not to define it because you can, it's more flexibility on their part. And just from the government side, from the leader of government business, we agree with all the amendments will be brought up by the Honorable Minister of Education. The rest, we don't agree with it, which will be brought up by the opposition, just to ease the process going forward. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister, can you just clarify that this process allows for amendments, right? I think it does not close the door on the draft that has come through. At any stage where we are now, anyone can suggest an amendment. I'm giving that recognition of what is happening by giving the amendments that has been suggested by Honorable Kumar that privilege to amend. If not, it can be defeated if it comes to a vote. That's your privilege. I recognize Honorable Kurundan.
Mr. Chair, my understanding regarding the private school, it's just the management of the school that is being run by a private organization. Could be individual, could be an organization. But all the curriculum and everything, it's just government. Because my understanding, in Australia, some students went to private school, but they go into the same competition, the same curriculum as other public school. It's just the management of the school that is being private.
Thank you. Are there any further before we vote on Honorable
Okay,
Usman?
no.
Right?
I want schools that don't follow the local curriculum. They do not. They have their own curriculum.
Yes, Honorable Thambuya.
Thank you, sir. I just want to clarify to Honorable Usamate about what I submitted is that the school has to endorse that a child is attending that school and they can get that bus card. So they can't just go themselves to get a bus card. It needs to be done through the school. That's government assisted. Therefore, we don't really have any private, purely private schools in Fiji because students can access that funding, access that provision by government.
Yes, one last one.
Thank you.
Honorable Kumar,
No problem, sir.
you're withdrawing your amendment?
No, I'm not. I'm saying once it's put to the vote, I'll accept the defeat. I just wanted to correct Honorable Tumbuya. When you say the child gets a bus card, this is assistance to a child. Private school is running of that whole school. And how are you assisting that school in terms of the building, like currently we give FEG money, free education grant. Private schools don't receive FEG. They charge fee, they raise funds, and they run their school. I just wanted to clarify that, sir.
Thank you. All right. We will now move to vote on the amendment that has been submitted by the Honorable Pramil Kumar. That clause 2 be amended by inserting the definition of private school to mean schools that are fully self-financed. All those who are in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those who oppose? No. The nay have it. Right. We'll move on. Minister of Education.
Thank you, sir. I seek leave to move an amendment to clause 2 of the bill also.
Amendment to clause 2.
On the definition of heads of school, that it be deleted, and the heads of school should reflect a person who is appointed for a government school and a government-aided school. That's the amendment, sir. I have it here. Can I complete it before I?
It's still on your.
Yeah, I will.
Yep. Can you recite it for us, please?
That the head of school
Wait.
means in the page 11.
Page 11, head of school, which is in, yes.
Means a person who is appointed by government secretary for a government school and a government-aided school, the head of school. Is responsible for the overall management and administration of the school, and in a primary or secondary school holds a position of head teacher, principal, or any other equivalent. That's one motion, sir. Another one is the local communities definition on page 12.
You are submitting 2 amendments so far to clause 2.
Yes.
The members do not know the full, the amendments as such. All we have here are the red prints, correct?
Yes.
And they do not represent what you're reading. You have it there, right? So there, would you like to, if say we start with the head of school first, if you don't mind, we can
the head of school definition that is in red to be deleted.
Deleted,
and amended
yes.
With a proper definition to state that the head of school is appointed for a government school and a government-aided school by the permanent secretary. The head of school is also responsible for the overall management and administration of the school. And C, in a primary school or secondary school, holds the position of head teacher, principal, or any other relevant position as a definition.
Yeah. Perhaps we can have a copy of your amendment so that we can work with the rest of the members of in discussion. 5. So the definition of the head of school as appearing in red there to be deleted by and replaced by the definition now submitted by the minister. It's quite lengthy to this one. So head of school or head of a school means a person who A, is appointed by one for a government school and a government-aided school is appointed by the permanent secretary. B, is responsible.
Overall management.
Hang on. Should be one. I think the numbering is not quite correct here. So head of school or head of a school means a person who, A, is appointed by one for a government school and a government-aided school, the permanent secretary. Right? And or B, is responsible for the overall management and administration of the school. I think it should be and, because its and is C, primary school or secondary school, holds the position of head teacher, principal, or any other equivalent position. And then second one is delete that. Oh, no, that's the second, that goes to the other definition. So we're dealing with head of school. Yes. I'm just trying to make sense of what it is now. Head of school or head of a school means a person who is appointed by one for a government school and a government-aided school, the permanent secretary, and is responsible. I think it should be and there, yes. Right? And is responsible for the overall management and administration of the school. And in a primary school or secondary school, holds the position of head teacher, principal, or any equivalent or any other equivalent position. That is the new definition of head of school to replace the one that is before you. Are there any second?
I hereby second the motion.
Honorable Tusawau is seconded the motion. Any comments, Honorable Usamati?
So that's the most long-winded definition I've ever heard. It's so, it just confuses people totally. Let me just say the current, a definition just specifies something. Here we're trying to define the term head of school because that term is used throughout the legislation. Not all the other stuff. It's just saying this term, head of school, what it means. The way that it's currently here, it says, means a teacher registered. Registered means approved. Obviously by the permanent secretary. You're registered, or you might want to change the word registered to something else. And then it talks about the two classes of schools. A head teacher for a primary school. A principal for a secondary school. That's it. I think the one that the minister's got is so long-winded, I got confused just trying to understand it. I think the one that we have now is good. So I don't agree with the amendment, sir.
All right, any more contribution to the debate on the new definition of head of school or head of a school? Yes, Honorable Kumar.
I think we all went through a training session organized by Parliament recently. And in that session, we were taught how to make laws. And one thing very important was that the language you use is simple, not complex, not convoluted, as we can see the definition proposed by the minister. Currently, the definition is quite simple. It makes sense. When you talk to a head of a school, you'll know that the head teacher is the head of school. Principal is the head of school. That's it. And they will not be in a school if they are not appointed by the permanent secretary. They cannot be in the school. So why you want to qualify further by saying who appoints, what not? It's just the definition so that people can identify who the head of school is. So when you walk into the school, you see the head teacher, that's the head of school. And if you see the principal, now he or she is the head of school. But no one is interested how he or she was appointed.
Right. Honorable Koya?
Thank you, sir. When the minister actually suggested the amendment, he didn't say why he wanted it changed or what's the reason for it, because again, in agreement with the other two that have just spoken, the less is more, more is less. What is in there covers everything, and I think all the rest of the stuff that you've added to the definition is covered under one word, registered. And it's actually quite simple. I can't understand, unless the minister is saying that there's a specific reason why the definition needs to be that long-winded. Is there an alternative way that somebody can be a head teacher or a head or principal? Is that why you're actually doing the definition change?
Honorable Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I wanted to justify my amendments when Honorable Usamate jumped the gun to put in his explanation. I think the definition there is not correct. As you mentioned there, that teachers registered as a head teacher. Every teacher is a registered teacher. There is no registered head teacher. You are appointed to become a head of school, whether principal or a head teacher in a primary school level, based on the assessment and recommendations by the permanent secretary. And with it, sir, comes additional responsibilities in terms of compliance. Honorable member was talking about teacher shortages, teacher needs. So that is all the responsibility that is required of head of school to prepare and submit to divisionals, then up to. So it's not as simple as that. That carries a lot of responsibilities as heads of school. So there is no registered heads of school. It's all registered FTRA, registered teachers, and they are appointed to their respective position, just like in any other profession.
Thank you. We will now vote.
Don't mind.
Yes, okay.
I think the point that I wanted to make, you're registered as a head teacher because you are appointed. It would be easier if that is too difficult to understand. If that is too difficult to understand, we can change the word registered for appointed. Change the word registered for appointed and keep it nice and short and simple. Thank you, sir.
We'll vote. Do you wish to accept his amendment? No? You leave it as it is. Right. I'll read out again, just for clarity, the definition of head of school to replace the present one. Head of school or head of a school means a person who A, is appointed by, for a government school and a government-aided school, the permanent secretary, and is responsible, B, that is, for the overall management and administration of the school, and C, is a primary school or secondary school, holds the position of head teacher, principal, or any other equivalent position. All of those in favor say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. We'll move on. The second amendments to the Go ahead, Honorable Minister, your second amendment to the local communities.
So on local communities, the deletion of the definition of local communities and inserting the new definition, which means a group of persons who are not indigenous to Fiji, maybe of diverse origins, and share a common social or cultural interest, and D, have historical ties to Fiji. That's the submission. Motion.
Can you come back on your D, Honorable Minister? What is D?
Local communities means group of persons who A, are not indigenous to Fiji, B, may be of diverse origins, and C, share a common social or cultural interest, and D, have historical ties to Fiji.
Thank you, honorable members. The suggested amendment by the minister to local communities, as it appears in the red there, to say, instead of what it is there, local communities means groups of persons who, A, are not indigenous to Fiji, B, may be of diverse origins, C, share a common social or cultural interest, and D, have historical ties to Fiji. That is the amendment submitted by the minister to the definition of local communities under section 2, clause 2. Any seconder?
I hereby second the motion.
Honorable Tisawau, second. Any contribution from the?
So just a brief contribution on the amendments. I think the current definition as is very broad and does not may be diverse in cultural nations, whereas all persons to grow as part of our beloved country, creating a specific and mandatory obligations on every school in Fiji to teach culture, customs, and history of any new group of communities. So, as is the current definition is so broad and may unnecessarily put pressure onto the Ministry of Education in terms of the specific groups that may need to be included in our curriculum system. So we just wanted to redefine and shorten the definition of local communities as compared to what is there now.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Floor is open for any. Honourable Samati.
I think the way that it is specified now, it actually captures virtually all of the things that the Honourable Minister has tried to put into his definition. But the use, if to see whether it has an impact on any work of the ministry, you have to see how the word local communities is used in the Act. The way that it is used there, none of the definitions here means, in the current definition that you have, there's a number of things in this definition. It talks about all classes of people that live in Fiji and who are lawfully resident, those who are citizens of our country. They share common social or cultural interests. That's basically what the minister is talking about. People of diverse origin forming part of the non-indigenous population of Fiji. The way that I look at the current definition captures what we mean by local communities. And it has this other aspect of lawfully resident that is not in the definition proposed by the minister. So I believe that the current definition is the better one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Are there any more contribution to the amendment from the minister? No? And we will proceed to to vote. The suggested amendment to the local communities to replace what appears on clause 2. Local communities means groups of persons who A, are not indigenous to Fiji, B, may be of the diverse origins, C, share a common social or cultural interest, and D, have historical ties to Fiji. Those in favor, say aye. Those who oppose, say nay. The ayes have it. We move on. Are we still in clause 2? The Honorable Kumar.
Thank you, sir. I move. First of all, I'd like to make reference to page 30,
30?
page 13,
Right.
and the definition is teacher trainee on page 13. So I move that word is, is, be deleted before the word not in B. It's a typo.
Yeah, it is a typo. Right. Right. I think.
you agree?
First of all, second, Honorable Usamati. There is no issue on the amendment suggested by Honorable Kumar. Honorable members, do you agree?
Oh, yeah?
It's a typo? Right. So we don't need to vote on it, do we?
No, we don't.
Right, then we'll just take the E's out of B. So thank you, Honorable Kumar. That's it. Further amendments to clause 2, Honorable Hem Chan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I move that clause 2 be amended by inserting EC centers and especially schools. Clause 2, page 11 and 13 respectively. I move that clause 2 be amended by inserting EC centers and especially schools. These two terms are not there. Yes.
I'm sorry, you have to clarify specifically where you are going. Where in page 11 are you trying to make your insertion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. EC centers will come just before Fiji National University. That's on page 11.
Page 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before Fiji National University at page 11,
yes,
you will insert EC centers.
Yes.
And what is the definition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The definition is EC centers or early childhood education centers provide structured care and learning for young children. I can see there is definition for primary school, there is definition for secondary school, but EC centers or EC is not is missing.
Yes, can we have a copy of your, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
We can work on. So you are suggesting that we insert ECE centers before Fiji National University definition?
Yes,
correct? And the definition of EC centers and special schools.
I have got the definition here, sir.
The two
Yes.
EC centers and special schools.
Yes, sir. And the special schools will come on page 13. And I have got the definition for the special schools here with me.
Thank you. Can we just go through, Honorable M. Chand, your suggested or your amendments is that we insert in the definition the EC centers to read EC center, right? EC centers or early childhood education centers. Provide structured care and learning. No, that's not a definition of EC center. Provide structured care and learning for young children.
Yes.
Typically from birth to age 6 through definitions, typically from birth to age 6,
Yes.
I think. Is
Yes,
that what you
Yes.
intending? Well, I think we'll deal with both of them at the same time, so it avoids us. And then we'll go to the next definition of special schools. Special school at page 13.
Page 13, sir, before, just after secondary school.
Yes. Right. So special school means a recognized education institution established for education, therapy support, functional learning, vocational training, transition and lifelong learning for children and persons with disabilities from early childhood to adulthood.
Yes, sir.
That is your special school definition.
Yes, sir.
To appear on page 13.
Page 13 after secondary school
Definition
definition.
of secondary school.
Yes, sir.
So those, yes. Are there any seconder to your second from Honorable Croy Labsau? We now begin our discussion on two insertions on definition, new definitions. On page 11, first of all, just after the definition of council, you enter ECE Center. And ECE Center is defined as ECEs or Early Childhood Education Centers provide structured care and learning for young children. I think we have to amend it to make more, right? Are there any comments or any on the definition? And then, sorry, we'll discuss both of them. And the other one is the special school, which will appear on page 13. At the top, after secondary school comes special school, means a recognized education institution established for education, therapy support, functional learning, vocational training, transition and lifelong learning for children and persons with disabilities from early childhood to adulthood. Those are the two definitions, the two new insertions that is suggested by Honorable M. Chan and seconded by Honorable Croy Labsau. Floor is open. Honorable Wulitau.
If Honorable, the mover of the motion, the Honorable Hem, can make references in the bill where it supports these two new insertion in the interpretation. Any specific clauses in the content that necessitates that?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. These two terms, I think it is all over the bill. Page 25, sir. Page 25. Page 24, we have got clause 40. Early childhood education is mentioned there, where we are talking about categories of education. And on page 25, still under categories of education, we have got special and inclusive education. And then there are many more places where these two terms are mentioned. And I think it is very important for us to define these two important terms. When we are defining primary and secondary, why not ECE and special education?
Honorable Prasad?
I'm just trying to understand the objective behind that, because if you look at page 24, you look at 39, 40. 40 says a school may provide the following categories of education: early childhood education, primary, secondary, technical, special. So it does have a provision for a special school. I mean, says a school may. A school could be totally early childhood education school. A school may be totally. So what's the purpose of that? I can't understand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. My argument is these two terms are not defined. Like primary school, it is defined, secondary school defined. What about early childhood centers and special schools? So only thing that I am saying is insert the definitions of these two terms, early childhood centers and special schools. Thank you.
Any more contribution? All right. We will vote. The amendments that have been suggested by Honorable Hemchan are two terms to be defined. That is the ECE Center on page 11, and I think it will make more meaningful if I add early childhood education centers means centers that provide structured care and learning for young children from birth to age 6, correct? Right, then that is much clearer. And then for the other one, special school, at page 13, special school means a recognized educational institution established for education, therapy, support, functional learning, vocational training, transition, and lifelong learning for children and persons with disabilities from early childhood to adulthood. Those are the two amendments suggested by Honorable Hemchan. And we'll now vote on the two suggested amendments. All those in favor of the amendments? All those not in favor, say nay. Right, the nays have it. We'll move on. Right. We'll move on. So, part one, we're still on part one. There are no more, this is part one, right? There are no more contributions to part one. Parliament will now vote on part one. The question is that part one, as amended, stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? As there are no opposition, the party is agreed to, part one is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part two.
Part two, the floor is now open for comments on part two. Parliament will now vote on part 2. The question is that part 2 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. It's none, so no member opposes. The part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 3.
Part 3, the floor is now open for comments on part 3. As no, the Parliament will now vote on part 3. The question is that part 3 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. No member opposes. The part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 4.
Part 4, the floor is now open for comments on part 4. Honorable Hem Chan.
Thank you, thank you.
We are looking
Thank
at
you,
part 4.
thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Part 4, clause 14. I move that clause 14 be amended by inserting a representative from Early Childhood Education and Fiji Council of Special and Inclusive Educators Association.
Thank you. Clause 14 is Hem Chan's amendment that there are 2 more categories for the membership of the council. The representative from the ECE,
Early Childhood Education Association and Fiji Council of Special and Inclusive Educators Association.
Thank you. Those are the 2 bodies that Honorable Hem Chan wishes their members to be represented as in the council, Advisory Council of the Education. Are there any seconders?
Chair, second the...
Second is Honorable Kurelam Sau. Floor is open. Honorable Nindamu.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. First of all, I strongly object to the amendment. This particular section, Honorable Chair, covers all what Honorable Hem Chan tried to bring it up in terms of special education and the ECEs. For the Great Council of Chiefs, it was a submission from the Great Council of Chiefs during the committee. Reason being because of the issues in regards to Itauke curriculum. We see that that it's a must that we include the Great Council of Chiefs in this particular section. Reason being because of the need that we need to protect the curriculum on Itauke. So for Honorable Hem Chan to come up with that particular amendment, I think it's already covered in this particular section. Those are my contribution, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Chair, as far as the membership of the council is concerned, I did not say anything about a nominee of the Great Council of Chiefs. I think Honorable, he misunderstood me. I'm moving that the clause be amended by inserting a representative from Early Childhood Education Association and Fiji Council of Special and Inclusive Educators Association. That's what I'm proposing. I'm not against a nominee of the Great Council of Chiefs. I think he misunderstood me. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you have the floor, Honorable Nindam.
I understand where Honorable Hem Chan is coming from. I object to the amendment to include those 2 because I understand that it's enough. It's already covered. under that section 14. But however, what I would like to move on further and add on to why Great Council of Chiefs was included, as it's a new inclusive. I want to clarify on that part, Honorable Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nindamu. Honorable Chan.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The reason why I have moved that we have a representative from Early Childhood Education Association, because we have got more than 850 ECE centers in Fiji, and looking at the number of educators that we have, it's more than 1,500. And the reason why I am moving that we have a representative from the Fiji Council of Special and Inclusive Educators Association. There are 18 special schools in Fiji, and we have got close to 2,000 students. So that's the reason why I'm moving that the representatives from these two associations be included. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more contributions? Yes, Honorable Turanga.
Do not support the motion because under maximum of 10 representing comprising at least disabilities, a positive, so they are represented already. If you look at HIJ.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Don't agree with the motion that has been tabled here. As part of the primary school operation and secondary school operation are the ECE. So every ECE, they report to a primary school, head of school. So their representative is here. That means they come and they also discuss about ECE that is attached to their primary school. So they cannot be independent. They are not operating independently. They are operating together under the premise of the primary school operations. So they are all covered as part of the...
Thank you. We'll move on to Honorable M. Chan. You were going to...
Thank you, Chair. I totally disagree with the Honorable Minister for Education, because having representative from primary, they don't know anything about early childhood education. These are two separate. Primary education is totally different from early childhood education, and primary education is totally different from special inclusive education. So we need representative from these two organizations, association, early childhood education, and special inclusive education association. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable M. Chan. We will now proceed to a vote on the amendments that had been suggested and by Honorable M. Chan. That is that clause 14 be amended by inserting representative from ECE and the Fiji Council of Special Inclusive Educators Association. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. Nay have it. We'll move on. Honorable Pramila Kumar.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to make reference to page 20 of the bill, clause 21, 21B. Page 20, clause 21B. I move that clause 21B be amended by inserting after the word minister, and the words are within 6 months after the close of each financial year.
Thank you. Are there any seconder?
I second the motion.
Honorable Usmate second the motion by Honorable Kumar, and that is clause 21B. 21B be amended by inserting of the word minister,
Oh, yeah.
the words within 6 months after the close of each financial year.
And sir,
And we continue, who must table the annual report, yes, sir?
annual report in Parliament, and we have to cross out as soon as reasonably practicable.
Right, so delete as soon as practicable.
Yeah.
It's, in any case, it's already up in the preamble, in section 21, without limiting the right to council to report anytime. The council must report as soon as practicable. So it's already covered there in any case, right? So, yeah, the amendments by Honorable Pramila Kumar is to insert at 21B after the word minister, the phrase within 6 months after the close of each financial year, who must table the annual report in Parliament, full stop. It's been seconded. And yes, Honorable Kumar, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. The reason why I've proposed this amendment, because we have seen in the Parliament that annual reports don't reach us. Why? Because of these loose-ended wordings in the bill, where we're not stipulating a time frame within which the annual report must be submitted. And again, another issue is that as you go through the bill, in other places, the time frame is stated, but here the time frame is not stated. And it's important that we state that the time frame within which the responsibility is on the minister to bring that annual report into the Parliament. So it's for this reason, sir, I'm proposing the amendment.
Thank you. Contribution, any submission? Yes, Honorable Busarong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I oppose the proposition by the Honorable Pramila Kumar, not simply because she sits on the other side of the House and I sit, well, the Minister for Education sponsoring this bill sits behind me. But let's be practical about things. Whilst we would want to impose statutory timelines, which should guide and in most instances enforce performance and compliance. At the same time, we have to be realistic about the space in which the Office of the Auditor General currently has. The Ministry for Education is the biggest ministry in civil service. And so to assume that if all the ministries of civil service finalizes their books after the close of any financial year, that there would be a clog at the Office of the Auditor General, and they would have to look at these statutory impositions, and quite possibly the result of that might be that some of the work may not be done properly. I like the wording as it is, and you and I, Honourable Speaker, have practiced on the other side of the House. It's having a very fair and balanced position that once you get your report, and the report is really out depending on whether or not and what or not the Auditor General will complete their job on time. And we'd want to have the Auditor General look at our books and return a report to us on time. But I think what we manage what we can, and inside of this House, it's when that report lands on the table of the minister. That's what we should be managing. Minister then who has to table that report to Parliament. We've had, the Honourable Pramila Kumar understands, so we've had to deal with annual reports that have gone back years and years ago. And that's simply because we have to be realistic too about the space that auditors have and need in order to give you an accurate report for us to come and discuss in Parliament. So I place my opposition on the caveat that, for me, it is better to have a report when the Auditor General is satisfied that that report is ready to be emitted to the Minister. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Kumar.
To say something.
Honorable Usmati.
This is the annual report of the council. It is an annual report of what the council has talked about. Now she's going to tell you something else.
Yes, Honorable Kumar.
I was listening to Honorable Wasarongo's argument very well. If that's his argument, then I would like him to refer to clause 157 of the same bill, which is page 60. Page 60 has put down a time frame very clearly by when the Higher Education Commission must submit their report. So there is inconsistency in the bill. At one place you are stipulating time frame, on other places you are not. So why aren't we doing the same thing for other institutions, which is looked after by Ministry of Education? So you have higher education, you have teacher registration body, they all have to submit the annual report. Except in this case, as I said on clause 157, it says very clearly on or before 30th April the following year. And why I've been proposing this 6 months after the close of each financial year, in case the government decides to use financial year as a calendar year. So it will not matter. And it is for this reason that I propose the change, because currently it is not consistent. That's all.
Honorable Kurundrani.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I disagree with Honorable Kumar and I agree with Honorable Wasarongo. The word is perfect. It's professional and practicable. Take, for instance, if there is something happened, like a disaster, a pandemic, whereby the ministry itself cannot afford to provide the report within that 6 months. So what will happen? So I think we will leave it as it is. That is very professional and practicable and flexible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Honorable Wasarongo. You have the floor.
So very briefly, Honorable Chair, I've had the opportunity to look at the proposed Section 60 of the Education Bill. And I'm sure that Honorable Kumar would appreciate this, that the Fiji Higher Education has a different set of powers and different set of responsibilities. The one that we're dealing with now, the council powers and responsibility, are much, much more huge than that of Fiji Higher Education Commission. And initially, I think she will appreciate that once this bill is passed and the council will be convened, and sure, we should be expecting some teething problems in the establishment of the commission and its operationalization of their legislative mandate. So yes, I've read your section. I've heard your argument. I hope that you hear mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Usmati.
This council is an advisory council. The Higher Education Commission has powers. It penalizes, it imposes, it registers, and they have strict guidelines. This is an advisory council. So you just, why can't we just put the time in? I mean, the way the minister was talking is about if the council has far more regulatory powers. It's just an advisory council. Higher Education Commission has powers. And they are given a strict guideline. So that argument does not hold, sir. That's my opinion.
Thank you. We will proceed to Honorable Duranga.
exactly why there are two levels. The council at the bottom, higher education is on top. That's the very reason you don't impose a time limit on them to submit. It's too cumbersome for them to do so if they don't submit. But however, there is a higher level of responsibility on the higher education. I think we should maintain as it's drafted, the former chair.
Honorable Al-Murri?
So just to try and add some closure on to the motion presented by Honorable Kumar. Firstly, I do not support the motion. Secondly, for closures, she can rely on the Financial Management Act, purposefully Section 49, which deals with annual reports. There's a clear section there on when the annual reports is to be tabled in Parliament by the Minister. So adding that into this bill is not necessary. They can just align that to the Financial Management Act. So we can just proceed.
Thank you. Honorable Kumar, we have one last.
Just my last argument to put across what the honorable member just said. The reason why we are receiving timely reports from Reserve Bank of Fiji, from FNPF, and particularly Reserve Bank of Fiji, because they have got a time frame within which they must submit. And the time frame is within 6 months. In fact, for them, it's within 4 months after the end of the financial year. Right. So going forward, it is extremely important that we must stipulate the time frame, because that will make things more efficient. And old reports will not come to the Parliament because it's an obligation. That's why we appoint people in authority. Right? They become CEOs, they become permanent secretary. It is their job to bring the reports here. It's not the minister's job, it's not your job. So we're talking about the higher education here again, whether it's higher education or other sections of this bill, they all need to submit the report in a timely manner, and it's important that we make them responsible. It's not a session where you just come together, advisory council, and then whenever it's practical, then you submit. If it's not practical this year, I can submit my report after 3 years, because that's when it's practical to me. That's what it says. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We'll now move to vote on the amendment submitted by Honorable Pramila Kumar, that addition of 2 amendments to clause 21, B, to read, submit a copy of the annual report to the minister within 6 months after the close of each financial year, and then who must table the annual report in Parliament, full stop. Put it to a vote. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. Nays have it. We'll move on. So we'll move on, and the Parliament will now vote on Part 4. The question is that Part 4 stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? No. No member opposes. The party is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 5.
The floor is now open for comments on Part 5. Honorable Hem Chan. Yes, yes.
A to include after Wasabagabiti to insert Hindi, Urdu, Ratuman, and other prescribed languages.
Is that C are you referring to, Minister?
Yes.
So the formal
23
learning of
C.
Wasabagabiti, and you identifying any other languages, are you saying?
Wasabagabiti, Hindi, Urdu, Rotuman, and any other prescribed languages. There's an amendment, sir.
The amendment, amendment proposed by the Minister on Part 5, Clause 23. The Minister is moving that Clause 23, 3C be amended. 3C be amended by, after the words Vosova Kaviti, to insert Hindi, Urdu, Rotuman, and
Other prescribed.
and any other
Prescribed.
prescribed. And any other prescribed. That is the suggested amendments by the Honourable Minister. Are there any? Is there any second?
Chair, just,
Hereby second the motion.
Honourable Tusawau, second. Honourable Minister, do you wish to speak on the amendment?
Yes, the amendments basically is to specifically list out the current languages that are currently taught in schools, and what we also have the resources that are in schools in terms of the languages that are being proposed to include Hindi, Urdu, and Rotuman.
Thank you. It's been seconded. Any Honourable Koya?
Thank you, sir. I know the ministers actually put in some specific things like Hindi, Urdu, and did you say Rotuman? Rotuman. So we have a very large Chinese community. And I'm not, if we're going to go down this particular road of putting in the communities, and I think in some of our other things that we have put Chinese in there. So is there a reason why he's leaving out Chinese, or you're just saying that it's covered under other languages prescribed? I would suggest that the Honourable Minister add Chinese to it. We have a very good alumni out of our Chinese schools, and they've done extremely well and done a great service to Fiji also, sir. So their recognition, Yat Sen is a phenomenal school, and I think it would be good to add Chinese to those. Of course, there are other languages that are being maybe on a smaller scale that can get covered under other languages, but in terms of putting it in there, I would suggest adding Chinese to it.
Honourable Minister?
And that amendments are basically what is currently being taught in schools right now.
Right.
As mandatory. As mandatory subjects.
And you have the catch-all phrase at the end, in any other that may be prescribed. Right? That would. I understand where Honourable Koy is coming from, but that's the Minister's amendments. That is that clause 23, 3C be amended to include specifically Hindi, Urdu, Rotuman, and after that, any other as may or be prescribed. Any other that may be prescribed, right? Honourable Koya?
I mean, if we're going to leave out the Chinese, then why don't we just cover everybody under other languages? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why would it be offensive, to use a harsh word, to add Chinese? We're covering the other languages in terms of, for example, the Sangam school might teach Tamil or Telugu or Malayalam. But that's a very minuscule amount of the population that gets covered. But we've got a phenomenal Chinese population that needs recognition also by simply putting Chinese, that's not being, it doesn't make sense. Otherwise, everybody, we need to be treating everybody equally here, sir. They have formed a huge part of our society from donkey's years. And I think if we're going to name that, it's being discriminatory to the Chinese population, sir, of Fiji. And I think we need to recognize that. And to be honest, sir, Yat Sen School, Lautoka Chinese School have provided phenomenal people in this country. And it's just recognition. Why would there be an objection from the minister to add Chinese and leave them in the other basket?
Chair, just like I mentioned before, these are the mandatory subjects that have been taught in schools, in all schools around Fiji. I think Chinese is only given in Chinese schools. It's not a mandatory subjects in government schools, nor in other faith-based schools.
All right. Minister is not in favor of your amendments, Honorable Koya?
Just to help, I think I understand the argument by Honorable Koya, but I think the real issue, historically, Vasavakaviti and Hindi were taught in almost all primary schools in the country. There are schools which specialized in teaching of Urdu. There are schools which try to teach Tamil, Telugu, Chinese. So, they, if you talk about language, you could be talking about few others in the next, 5 or 6 years. I think the original amendment that was there was Vasavakaviti, Hindi and other languages, which covered every other smaller numbers, but also important languages. So if we add Chinese, if we add Telugu, Tamil, you might have to add Bengali as well, or something. But I think that is sufficient at the moment. Or you just keep Vasavakaviti and Hindi and other languages.
Thank you.
That might be a neater way of just saying Vasavakaviti, Hindi and other languages, because these are the two main languages taught historically in all the primary and secondary schools. I mean, if that makes it easier.
Honorable Minister, it's your say whether you are. That is, I'm.
To amend the motion to just
amend,
include
as Honorable
Hindi and
Prasad,
other prescribed
just
languages.
to Vasavakaviti, Hindi, or any other language. Are you?
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll go along with that amendment, sir.
Right. So that the. So the clause 23(3)(c) will be amended as proposed by the Honorable Minister to say after the Vasavakaviti insert Hindi and any other language that may, but it's already prescribed, isn't it? That's the issue.
Prescribed languages. Sorry?
Right, yes. So
All
now
covered.
it's just Vasavakaviti, Hindi, or any other that may be prescribed. It is now from. Right. Honorable Koya, your last.
Yes, sir. If I may, by reason of this, there are only 2 languages that are to be taught compulsorily from this, which the schools do, which is fair enough. But we are being all inclusive by including Vasavakaviti and Hindi, and we don't name the Rutumans and the Chinese.
prescribed languages.
So you were including them in prescribed languages.
Other prescribed languages.
Right.
We recognize them. I give up.
All right.
I give up, sir.
Right. We will vote on the minister's amendment to section clause 23(3)(c) to say read Vosavagaviti, Hindi, and any other languages that may be prescribed. All right? Rathuman? Or you were going back to the original?
Rotuma and any other prescribed language.
Okay, well, as you were, so Vosavagaviti, Hindi, Ratuman, and any other languages.
Yes, thank you.
Right? We'll move it to a vote. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those who oppose say nay. The ayes have it. I must say, Honorable Koya, I did not reveal that I have very close, as you know, Chinese as well as Ratuman connections. So I'm not there. Thank you. We'll move on. Part 5. Oh, part 5, I'm Hemchand. We are still at part 5. I'll call on Hemchand to move his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that clause 25 be amended by inserting the following. I qualified and experienced primary curriculum specialist. I qualified and experienced secondary curriculum specialist. I qualified and experienced early childhood education curriculum specialist. I qualified and experienced special inclusive education curriculum specialist. At the moment, we only have a qualified and experienced curriculum specialist. Thank you.
Thank you. The amendment proposed by Honorable Hemchand will include other categories in clause 25. To those already appearing, to include 1, a qualified and experienced primary curriculum specialist, 2, a qualified and experienced secondary curriculum specialist, 3, a qualified and experienced ECE curriculum specialist, and 4, a qualified and experienced special inclusive education curriculum specialist. Those are the 4 new categories of persons that Honorable Hemchand wished to be included as the members of the authority under clause 25. Is there any seconder?
Honorable Chair, I second the motion.
Honorable Lamsau says second the motion. The floor is open for contribution. None? Right. Then we proceed to the vote. Right. We proceed to the vote. As I have said, the additional 4 members, suggested members of the authority by Honorable Hemchand, which I have read. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. The nay have it. We'll move on to the second amendment to part 5, Honorable Pramila Kumar.
Thank you, sir. I'm referring to page 23, clause 32, part B. I move that clause 32B be amended to include the following words. And the words are, within 6 months after the close of each financial year.
Thank you. Amendment submitted by Honorable Pramil Kumar to clause 32B. And to read after the word Minster, the words within 6 months after the close of each financial year. For financial year, who is it? Is that deleted? Who must table the annual report? It stays as is. Right?
Parliament.
Submit a copy of the annual report to the Minister within 6 months after the close of each financial year, who then must table the annual report
In Parliament.
in Parliament. Thank you. That is the amendment. Suggested amendment submitted by the Honorable Pramil Kumar. A seconder?
Second the motion, sir.
Honorable Usamate, second the motion. Floor is open. Yes, Honorable Kumar, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Again, my arguments are still the same. It is to prevent tabling of all annual reports in the Parliament by specifically stating by when annual reports must be tabled will allow Parliament and public to scrutinize how public funds were used and services delivered. Why 6 months? As I mentioned earlier on, in case the governments come and they want to change the financial year. So rather than saying April, June, July, it's better to say 4 months, 6 months, 3 months after the end of the financial year. So with that thinking, I'm proposing the change.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, Honorable Kumar. Any contribution from the floor on the suggested amendment by Honorable Kumar? I don't see any. Then we'll proceed to the vote. Right. As I read out that within 6 months after the close of each financial year, to be inserted after the word Minister in clause 32B. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. Nay have it. We will move on to the part 5, whole of part 5. The Parliament will now vote on part 5. The question is that part 5 as amended stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? If no member opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Part 6.
The floor is now open to comments on part 6. Honorable Hemchan.
Chair, I move that clause 38 be amended by inserting mobile school to types of schools. Page 24, clause 38. We have got government school, government aided school, private school, home school, and my proposal is that we add mobile schools.
All right. Honorable Hemchand has suggested the amendment to clause 38, new addition to the classes of schools that are there to include mobile school. The definition you put here?
Yeah, I have given the definition, sir, and the definition for mobile schools are, these are specialized portable educational unit designed to bring learning to remote or underserved areas. And for the information of the House, we do have mobile schools in Fiji. Thank you.
Right, thank you. So can I get it from you, Honorable Hemchand, that this definition then goes to the clause 2 definition, correct? It will go to the clause 2 definition of what a mobile school is.
Thank you, sir. I will provide the definition, but I think I have given the definition.
You got it here. I'm just saying the placing. It will not go into that where you suggested.
Yes, yeah. But the only thing that will be inserted is mobile schools.
Right. Thank you. The floor is open. Any seconder? Sorry. This is the motion.
Honorable Chair, I beg to second the motion.
Honorable Correia Sao, second the motion. We open the floor for discussion on the suggested amendment by Honorable Ham Chan to include under clause 38 mobile school to the classes of schools that are there, A, B, C, D, and E will be mobile school. There any comments, Honorable Turanga?
Doesn't make any sense. The question is the mode of ownership, government, government aided, private, and home. Doesn't make any sense when you want mobile schools.
Right. So any further amendments to that? Any further comments, Honorable Hemchand?
Thank you, Chair. We do have mobile schools in Fiji, and I'm aware that there is one mobile school in Nandi. This is a preschool, which is a mobile school. I think the Minister is aware of this mobile school which is in Nandi. There is one in Nandi that I am aware of. Maybe there are more schools, mobile schools in Fiji, but early childhood, yes.
Right. Maybe I've heard comments about definition. I might as well read the definition that has been provided, what a mobile school is, according to Honorable Hemchand. These schools on wheels often house in converted buses, vans, or mobile trailers. Right? Do I hear any more? Honorable? No? Right, let's proceed to, Honorable Turanga, you wish to? Right. Right. We'll, since there are no more contributions to the suggested or to the amendment by Honorable Hemchand, we'll vote on it. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those who oppose say nay. Nay. The nays have it. So the Parliament will now vote on Part 6. The question is that Part 6 a stand part of the bill. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the part is agreed to unanimously. Honorable members, I am advised that dinner is ready. So we will take 45 minutes to allow you to have a good dinner, and then we will resume after that. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.